Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing good. Today, I'm going to explain about vendor management workspace overview. Okay, so let's see our agenda. So today, what we are going to cover. Our agenda is like what is vendor management business objectives. Okay, benefits of vendor management workspace. Vendor management overview, like why we use vendor management, what are the key features we have, and what are the solutions we can provide, okay, to the customer. A vendor, like what is a vendor, why we use a vendor in terms of vendor management, okay. Single ecosystems with multiple lenses, like how many ecosystem, what is a single ecosystems with multiple lenses. Workflow, what is the workflow of vendor management workspace, what are the roles and responsibilities and goals available in vendor management workspace. Okay, how do we approach? Okay, what is the approach like to design and to customize what and to implement? So how do we approach it? Okay, and a demo, like what is vendor management workspace? Okay, so how the data is visible in the workspace? Okay, so what all the data can we can view? So as a demo, we can go and explain about walkthrough in the our personal development instance. Okay, so those things we can cover. This is the agenda for today's sections. Yeah, let's start with the business objective. So business objective, in a vendor management workspace, it typically serves as a centralized platform for managing vendor relationships, contracts, performance, and other related activities. Okay, there are some business activities. Okay, for such a workspace. Okay, may include. Okay, so let's see. The first one is like efficient vendor onboarding. So what is this efficient vendor onboarding? Like streamlining the process of onboarding new vendors, including due diligence, documentation management, approval workflow. The objective is to minimize the time and effort required to engage new vendors while ensuring compliance with organization policies and regulations. Okay, so um, that is why we use efficient vendor onboarding. And the second one is contract management, and you can track contract terms, renewal dates, milestones, and obligations, okay, to ensure that vendors deliver according to agreed upon terms and conditions. Okay, such contract management you can manage. Okay, cost optimizations, it's like you know the vendor provides some services, and they can negotiate better pricing and optimize vendor relationships to reduce cost without comprom- compromising the quality and service levels. Okay, so the cost optimizations, you can identify the opportunities to consolidate vendor services. Okay, risk mitigations. What is risk mitigations? Assessing and mitigating risks associated with vendor relationships. Okay, like financial instability, cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Okay, compliance issues, conflict issues, disruptions to the service delivery. Okay, this objective is to like proactively identify and address that risk to protect the organization's interest. Okay, organizations or something like that. Okay, so risk mitigations. Okay, performance monitoring. Okay, it's like we have to build some key performance indicators and metrics to evaluate vendor performance objectively. Okay, and this includes like monitoring service levels, quality of deliverables, okay, responsiveness to issues, customer satisfactions. Okay, so the expectations, they meet or exceed the expectations. Okay, so like that we can monitor the performance monitoring. Compliance management, like ensuring that vendor comply with contractual obligations, regulatory requirements, and identifying the standards relevant to their services, okay, like security standards, ethical guidance, and compliance frameworks. All these things, compliance management, you can do that a vendor is meeting the compliance or not. And the relationship management, like this involves, open communications, resolving conflicts or disputes, okay, identifying the opportunities for mutual growth and innovations. Something, okay, you can improvise the the relationships with the vendors based on trust, transparency, and collaborations. Continual improvement, like continuously you can enhance or assessing and enhancing the vendor management processing tools, practices to adopt to changing business needs, technology advancements, and market dynamics. The objective is to drive, efficiently, efficiency, agility, and the effectiveness in the vendor management operations. Okay, so these are the business objectives. These are the main business objectives. Okay, by aligning vendor management initiatives with these business objectives, organizations can optimize vendor relationships, mitigate risk, reduce cost, drive sustainable value across the enterprises. Okay, ServiceNow Vendor Management Workspace provides the tools and capabilities to support, these objectives and empower organizations to achieve their vendor management goal effectively. Okay, so that one, and the next is like benefits. What are the benefits of using vendor management workspace in ServiceNow? It provides, okay, several benefits like centralized platform. Okay, customers can manage all vendors related activities, contracts, and relationship in one centralized platform, streamlining the process and improving the efficiencies. Enhance visibility. The platform provides, real-time visibility into vendor performance. Okay, real-time and contact statuses and compliance metrics, allowing the customers, okay, to make informed decisions and mitigate risk effectively. Okay, improved collaborations. ServiceNow vendor management workspace, facilitates the collaboration between internal teams and vendors and enabling seamless communications, documenting, sharing, and issue resolution. So all these things we can do. Okay, we can improvise the collaborations. Okay, between the service vendors and the customers. Okay, and we can define automated processes also. The platform, automates respective tasks such as vendor onboarding, contract renewals, performance evaluation, saving time, and reducing manual errors. Okay, compliance and risk management. The as I said before, okay, customers can track vendor compliance with regulatory requirement and internal policies, reducing the risk of non-compliance and associated penalties. Okay, like that. Cost savings, as like by optimizing vendor relationships and contracts, customers can identify the cost saving opportunities, negotiate better terms, and avoid unnecessary expenses. Okay, like that. Enhancement security. um, your service now provides a robust security features to protect, sensitive vendor data and ensure compliance with data privilege regulations. Okay, reducing the risk of data breaches. Okay, so that's why we can use enhanced security. Okay, and overall, using vendor management workspace in ServiceNow help customer streamline vendor management processes, improve collaborations, reduce risk, and drive cost. And vendor management workspace overview. Okay, so why we use vendor management workspace? For example, like IT vendor manager. Okay, so who are managing the IT services? They don't have like standardized and scalable solutions to assess a vendor performance. Okay, by using this vendor management workspace, they can have a single destination, to locate the key information about the companies, okay, or the vendors, all these things, okay. And the sole source for service owners to see how vendor performance impact services, okay. Standardized and scalable solutions to collect and track vendor performance. Okay, accessibility to current versus historical data. They can have accessible to current and historical data also. Okay. Um, let's see what are the key features and capabilities, like vendor, they can access vendor directory or profile, okay, and they have integrations with like service portfolio management and owner workspace, asset management, continual improvement management assessment, okay, contract management, service level management, vendor assessments, vendor risk management like SecOps. Okay, you can integrate with any of the tools. Okay, and also they can build KPIs. Okay, to monitor the performance of the vendors. Okay, using performance analytics, all these things. Okay, and they can have some performance breakdowns like or daily. They can choose weekly, monthly frequency based on running averages or monthly aggregates. Okay, so they can use these key features and capabilities. So how the solutions? Okay, what are the what is the solution we use in the vendor management? Uh, so in the vendor management, we have like onboarding solutions we can provide, like vendor portal. You have vendor portal, approval workflows while onboarding a vendor management. Okay, so they can have cross-functional workflows, mobile access they can have, and the vendor assessments, ERP integrations you can do for onboarding a vendor, okay, and performance management like KPIs for incident management, reporting and analytics, vendor scorecards, SLA management, okay, workflows, cross-functional, mobile incident reporting, so they can and the vendor management, vendor manager workspace. So all these are the performance management. Okay, you can calculate the scores, KPIs for the different modules, and risk management like vendor assessments, vendor tiering, okay, vendor risk scoring, vendor surveys, risk reporting. So all these things you can have these solutions. Okay, these are the solutions for the vendor management while using vendor management. Okay, so next. Like, okay, so we are selling like, wow, vendor, like, but who is a vendor in this context? Okay, a vendor is an entity that provides a product or service to the employees. Okay, and like a vendor may, for example, like provides like hardware, software, services, so like IT securities. So there are different types of vendors. Okay, they can be, okay, but a vendor management is a discipline, okay, that enables organization to control cost, drive service excellence, and mitigate risk to gain increased value from their vendors throughout their daily life cycle. Okay, so that way. Okay. Uh, okay, what is a single ecosystem? Okay, what is a single ecosystem with a multiple lenses? There are, two distinct lenses for managing and evaluating a vendor engagement, like managing a vendor. Okay, so they can manage a vendor here in the vendor one contract. Okay, vendor two, what is the contract? Vendor three, what is the contract? They can have a ZA and ZB true level of contracts they can manage. Okay, they can focus in on vendor partnerships, okay, and case about vendors ability to drive against the contract requirements. And the second lens is like managing a vendor provided service. Okay, so you see here the services, they can manage the services which are provided by vendor one. You can see the vendor one pro services, vendor service A and service B and service C. And vendor two services only service A. And vendor two, vendor three, this is vendor three. Service is only service B. Okay, so it's like focus is on the service performance, customer satisfaction from an operational and strategy long-term perspectives. Okay, and case about the vendor's ability to drive a great service. Okay, so yeah, that's about a single ecosystem with the multiple lenses. Okay, like managing a vendor and managing a vendor provided services. Okay, and the workflow of a vendor management workspace. Okay, what is the workflow of a vendor management workspace like? You can see here, allows you to monitor metrics. Here, the service offering, contracts, improvement initiative, SLA definition, risk management. So these are all the inputs. Okay, these are the configured for vendors. Okay, these all metric models are created and configured for vendors. How they are used in vendor management workspace. Okay, if you see this one, vendor score metric model, as a vendor admin, okay, they can leverage the performance and analytics indicators, okay, to monitor performance, compliance, and risk, okay. So all these using these input data, you can create scores, okay, surveys, and you can create some KPIs, okay, to show like how the performance, how they are improving or decreasing their qualities or something like that. Okay, so they can do all these things so through vendor manager workspace. On the output, you can see this one, the manage and monitor all of your vendors in unified locations. Like they can console the vendor information as a unified location, automate the process of tracking, standardize metrics, okay, access the vendor satisfactions and track contracts and SLAs. Okay, so using these inputs, you can with these roles, you can build some strategic metric model, and the vendor manager in the vendor manager workspace, they can access the performance as in KPIs like goals, scores, all these things. And as this a result, okay, the outcome is like they can store all these things in a one place and to see and to showcase to all the CEO and CFO level. Okay, so that's why we use the vendor management workspace. Um, okay, and now the roles and responsibilities and goals. Okay, so we have a role called vendor admin. Okay, so vendor admin. Why we use the vendor admin? This vendor admin. Define the monitoring and vendor score metric models involved in measuring the vendor performance. Okay, the goal of this is to manage all the vendor data. Okay, like contracts, all these things, different for all the vendors, not only a particular vendor. Okay, and he collects the information from different vendor managers, all these things, and associate, create vendor score metric models with a vendor. Okay, vendor types within ServiceNow. Okay, so all these things he can create as a vendor admin for all the vendors. But there is an vendor manager. Okay, the vendor manager is responsible for defining and maintaining the vendor management process. Okay, like including managing vendors state throughout the relationship with the company. Okay, the role of the vendor manager is usually a senior manager with experiencing and understanding of a vendor relations and vendor performance, often aligned with supplier or procurement managers. Okay, so and he can create, edit, delete vendor score metrics model records, which he manages the vendor. Okay, so for all vendors, they maybe have different vendor managers. Okay, for one vendor there is one vendor manager, and for different vendor, and they have like two vendors they can manage. Okay, so all these things they can create or edit only with respect to of their vendors only, not all the vendors. Okay, and the service owner. Okay, the service owner, responsible for monitoring and managing the vendors and contracts with support, okay, or supply their services. Okay, so it's like the monitoring the vendor performance via vendor management workspace in collaboration with vendor manager. Okay, works with the procurement or vendor manager. Okay, to define appropriate targets for vendor score metric models and success indicators. Acts upon vendor performance as a required to achieve or maintain service qualities. In relation to this one, okay, you can use a service builder. Okay, to so that from there you can create a services or assign the services to define vendor managers, all service offerings, how you can manage all these things. Okay, and the third one is like agent. So there is no role for this one also. Agent is like a normal service desk agent or tier one agent. Okay, they takes on employees or customer cases, writing in support queues, create tickets. Okay, based on customer interactions. Okay, provide intelligence and contextual solutions to resolve the inquiry, escalate and assign to appropriate individuals, document solutions, collaborate to provide the best seamless customer care. Okay, so these tasks, these are the responsibilities of a agent. Okay, but the goal is like they may interact with customer face to face. Okay, and they provide the services by phone, but also may interact with the customers face to face. All these things. Okay, so as an agent, because of this, it can track in the vendor management process also. Okay, and what is the approach? The approach is simple. Okay, like process guide provided. Okay, to prepare you for the configuration of workshops or something like that. Okay, and step-by-step walkthrough of the vendor management workspace as it is work technically within ServiceNow. Agree on the configuration decisions to suit and desired business outcomes. Okay, and identify any additional functionality required that not available from the out of the box. Okay, so this is the approach you need to follow while discussing vendor management. Okay, vendor management through your with your customers or with your vendors, all these things. Okay, you need to configure like this step by step. Okay, and let's see a demo. Okay, let's see a demo of how the vendor manager looks in the service now. The what are the dashboards available? Okay, how the data shows. Okay, how the vendor manager sees his data. All these things we will see with a small demo. Okay, or log into your instance. So let's navigate to vendor management workspace. So I have configured most of the things like to show vendor KPIs, vendor satisfaction by vendor. Okay, so all these scores and all the vendors, my vendors, all the list I have configured to show you as a demo. Okay. Um, we can what we can do is I will create one more video to how to configure the vendor management workspace, what plugins needs to install, what roles to whom we can give the roles, or how to give the roles, how the data should populate here. Everything we will cover the implementation step or configuration step we can cover in our next video. For now, I will explain you the demo. Like I will show the what is workspace. Okay, vendor management workspace. What data will be shown? Okay, what type of list? Everything. So let's cover those things. Okay, so to show the vendor management workspace. Okay, so you need to go to the workspace and click on vendor management workspace. Else, what you can do is type vendor on the navigation panel, okay, and click on vendor workspace. So it will open in the new tab. Here you can see the home button where you can see the performance about my vendors. So as in my profile, okay, so I have given a role called vendor manager, okay. So what all the vendors I am responsible for. So those vendors only I can see, like about my vendors. Okay, it's like um, uh, uh, vendors which I am the vendor manager, for which I am the vendor manager. So that's the reason I can see the two KPI groups. Okay, so all these things. If I am the part of all the all KPIs, or I mean all vendors. Okay, so I can see all the KPI groups. Okay. So these are the vendor KPI groups you can see, and the new contracts which are created in like contracts in last 30 days. Any new contracts, okay? So the zero will be there are no new contracts now for now, okay? So that's the reason zero contracts. So for example, if I create a new contract, okay? So let's click on this 10, okay, and create a new contract. So like a contract model is an insurance, okay, or vendor belongs to Amazon, we'll select, okay, and the contract number is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 something I can give, okay, and when it is start date is like yesterday, March 1st, and end date is on April 30 or something. You can add it, okay. Oh, sorry, I did not add April 1st. Okay, and I can add it as an end date is April 30. Okay, so the contract administrator, business owners, approver, we can add it under renewal options. Okay, if you have automatically renew financial information, everything. So just create and submit for review. So select an approver for a review. So I can select system administrator. Um, admin, like no, I think I cannot select administrator or something. So let's select Beth Angeline, okay, and submit for review. So it will go to terms and conditions, all the details, okay. So let's save it. And let's go to home page now. So if you refresh it, it will not come. It will sorry, it will come. Okay, you can see the new contracts which are created in last 30 days, and the contracts ending in last 30 days also one contract, because we choose in April 4. So that's the reason you can see the data here. If you have any improvement initiatives, you can see here, like active improvement initiatives. Like for example, this is included with continual improvement management, okay. So if you have a plugin and if you are using that data, so you will get it, okay. Like you can initiate the improvements, like for example the incident management or change management or any other module you want to improve something, okay, SLS or something, okay. So the where this KPI is responsible, this vendor is responsible, so all these improvement initiatives you can create it, okay. And this is the performance score by vendor in last 90 days. Uh, as a system administrator, okay, I am the vendor manager for the vendors Apple and Amazon. So that's the reason I can see only these two. If I hover on this one, I can see the latest, like Apple is 93.77 and Amazon is 72.91. So these two vendors performance score you can see in the last 90 days. So for example, this score is calculated based on the survey which we sent to the stakeholders, So once they submit it, the score, vendor score, satisfaction or performance score will be calculated automatically. And you can see the same vendor satisfaction by vendor. So how much score it is vendor satisfaction. And you can see under my vendors like Amazon, Apple vendor score, how much it is. And you can find the what are the vendor types. Amazon is like belongs to hardware and services, and Apple is belongs to software. And rank tier is valued partner. Okay, so there maybe have like anything. Okay, any value partner. For example, if you, I think you cannot edit from this. And these are the top order items from my vendor. So these are the top order. Like I have submitted only one item for Apple iPad. So the this catalog item vendor is Apple. So that's the reason I can see here. So what all the vendor catalog items are there. So which catalog item was submitted more times than that is called top ordered catalog item. So you can see here. And also you can click on performance. This is the performance tab in the same, and you can see the Apple, okay, vendor management performance, and the Apple, you can see what is the vendor score, vendor satisfaction score, okay, what is the vendor requested items, how many are there, okay, all these things you can see, okay, weight 100%, 0%, and 0%, no data is found, okay. That is for KPI group software, and hardware is like Amazon, so you can filter out, okay, what is the start date and what is the end date. You can filter out easily. And if I click on Amazon, what happens? So Amazon vendor, it opens, and you can see individual vendors. So like Amazon performance, okay, it's like vendor score is this one, and what is the vendor score KPI, and if you have any additional KPIs like vendor requested item, how many, manual SLA from SLA external source, how many are there. So all these things, you can add different KPI groups also, but right now we did not configure any KPIs for now. Okay, so while discussing in our next video how to create KPIs, how to populate the data on the dashboard, so then we will see these details. And also you can see in the details what is the company, vendor, what is general location, all this financial information, everything. And the companies like, the companies maybe, these are the child companies for Amazon. So these are the child companies you can see in the what are the child companies and what are the service offering by Amazon. By Amazon, you can see, um, so Amazon Pay, Amazon Network are the two service offerings for Amazon. Okay, and service commitment, if you have anything you can see, and you can click on more like contracts, how many contracts are there for Amazon. Okay, you can see here, and also SLA definition, what all the SLA definitions are configured. Okay, and what all the vendor catalog items, for Amazon, what all the catalog items are available, you can see here in the details. Okay, and the same asset, what all the assets are belongs to Amazon. So everything will be shown in individual, and you can also create a new service credit or improvement initiatives from the dashboard. And also if you have edited anything, you can save it or anything, and you can delete also as a vendor manager. In the list view, if you go, this is the list. My vendors, what all the vendors, my vendor contracts, what all the contracts for the vendor, all vendors you can see. Okay, so Adobe system is also there as a vendor, all Adobe. So you can easily add the filter like vendor is equal to true or what type of a vendor. Okay, you want to see only vendor type is software, you can add some advanced view here. Okay, and click on update, so it will run it. Okay, you can, if you want to export, you can export, and you can add columns also, you edit columns, save as width also, you can adjust. Unassigned vendors, like if you have any unassigned vendors, if you see here, so vendor manager is empty, so this one. Okay, so the same way, all vendor or outages, what all the vendor outages you have, my vendor outages. My vendor outages means I am belongs, I am the vendor manager, and vendor manager belongs to like which vendor. So that is called my vendor, like my vendor contract, all same thing, all vendor incidents, my vendor incidents. Okay, so now we don't have any data. In the upcoming section, we will see that how to populate all these data, everything. Okay, to populate all this data, okay, we need to run the scheduled jobs. Okay, what scheduled jobs we have to run. Okay, all those things we can see in upcoming section. Okay, and also um, like comparing the data between historical and period. But you must have this performance analytics premium plugin to create some customized KPIs, or use the out of the box KPIs and modify a little bit according to our needs. So we can use all those things, but we need a performance analytics plugin to be enabled. Okay, at least for ITSM. Okay, at least for ITSM. So on the several service levels also you can see. Okay, like my vendor SLAs, all vendor SLAs, my vendor breach SLAs. So what all the, so you can also create a my list, add a new list, everything you can create it. Okay, so that is what about the vendor manager workspace. Okay, so as we said, okay, as we said. In a service now, a vendor management workspace, okay, typically serves as a centralized platform for managing vendor relations and contracts, performance, and other related activities. Okay, it's like you can manage all this. Like for example, if I click on this one, okay, I will get open two KPIs. Okay, one KPI is Amazon, one KPI is Apple. If I click on Amazon, so I can open all these KPI details, all these details, and save it. Okay. So like if I, as I said, okay, so if I go and click on Amazon, so it opens a individual Amazon profile, and you can see how efficient vendor onboarding. You can do the onboarding also, but that we can discuss in the upcoming sections. Okay, contact management you can do. Oh, okay, you can optimize the cost. You can mitigate the risk. You can continuously monitor the performance by creating some KPIs, and compliance management also. So yeah, so all these things. But you need to run the data every time, because these the scheduled jobs which run daily, okay, which have to be run daily. Once you enable the uh, you know vendor management workspace. Okay, and you need to gather all the data, like what all the performance analytics, performance KPIs you need, what all the vendors we have, what all the vendors service offerings we have, service commitment for all these vendors. So you need to gather this information and create all those things. So let's see in our next section that how do we gather all the requirements, and how do we create um, KPIs for different vendors, and how do we get the data in the dashboards. Okay, so all these things we will see in the upcoming sections. Okay, so that's all about the vendor management workspace overview for now. Okay, so I hope you understand. Yeah, thank you very much. Please do subscribe to get alerts for upcoming videos. Hope you will enjoy and learn ServiceNow. Thank you very much for your time.